Hi! Okay, so this is my last live stream with you guys, because this is my last week, and then Mr. Wang will be back next week for the last 2 weeks of your semester. So couple announcements that I'll kind of be like sprinkling in throughout the hour. One is that I don't know if like you've been told already, but just in case you haven't, you're not going to be able to access your lockers or anything that you left at school. You can't return your textbooks or whatever. So like you're gonna hang on to your textbooks, and if you got a Chromebook from the school, you're gonna hang on to that all through the summer. If there's something in your locker, it's just gonna stay there until the summer. Throughout the summer. Yeah, unfortunately, the school is just not really ready to kind of come up with some sort of plan or procedure to have all the students like trying to get, clean out their lockers or come onto campus to return books or computers or whatever. It's just too much of a risk right now. So if there's something in your locker that you really want, I'm sorry. It'll just have to wait. Let's see, I can't. Okay, so, Adam, you are moving. Okay, I'm gonna write that down, and I'm going to either send that to, I'm gonna send it to Mr. Wang or the office, admin office. Okay, so I wrote that down. I'll probably Mr. Wang will be the one to like give you an answer on that, just because I won't be here after tomorrow. I mean, I'll be here. I'll actually be the one like taking care of your Unit 8 notebook check, just because I know the unit, because I did the unit, and it would just be easier and faster for me to look through it instead of Mr. Wang. But yeah. Okay, so that was the first announcement, just about the lockers and textbook kind of stuff. If anyone else has some sort of special situation, like you're moving or whatever, something like that, or there's something very important in your locker that you really need, just email me or Mr. Wang, Canvas or whatever, so that we can let the office admin people know that there's like a special situation happening or something. Okay, and then so I'm going to ask, so normally like throughout the the past weeks during live streams, I've had you answer like a question or something at the beginning, and the question I'm going to ask you for today is actually, I would say, important in the sense that I really want your real honest opinion or feedback on this, because so again, nothing's decided yet. Oh, first of all, we are for sure not starting in July, by the way. School is not starting until like mid-August at the earliest. So don't be concerned about any of that July stuff that was kind of floating around. But anyway, at the last department meeting yesterday, the teachers, we were kind of talking about, trying to start thinking about what the fall is going to look like. And there are no answers for sure, no certainty at all about what the fall is going to look like, but there is a significant probability that online learning is going to be happening in the fall, just because we don't know if we just don't know how will this coronavirus, like, is it gonna like die down in the summer and then kind of stay that way, or is it gonna kind of just linger around for a little bit? And then you have flu season coming up in the fall, so like I'm pretty certain that probably like during more late fall winter time when flu season is coming up again, and then you're gonna have like your second spike of COVID-19 stuff, that you're, you know, at least portions of the school year are probably going to be, you know, like distance learning, online learning again. So with that in mind, that there is going to be at least some portion of your next school year online again, my question that I want you to answer, I just want you to give some feedback about what is one thing that teachers could do differently to better support you during online learning. Yeah. So I'll type it in the chat just so you can see it, and then I'll put the raccoon on while you think. Okay, cool. Thank you for all your feedback. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing a general trend of like maybe like not having an idea of like where your grade is standing, because like your grade was like the same since March or something, so not feeling like your work is being graded and actually factoring into your grade, or just that you feel like you're just assigned a bunch of worksheets, kind of busy work, and not really being taught how to do it or whatever. Okay, that's good feedback good feedback. I think personally, just when I was reflecting on, this past unit and what I think might have been better to have done differently, just in hindsight, I think for sure just like how like the notebook checks are being like all done at the end. I think it was a little like hard just because you had no idea all this time like how your grade was going, and it's just like everything's getting put in like now, like towards the end. And so I've been trying to get all the I've been trying to like put all the points in as quickly as I can with the unit 6 and 7 and the quizzes, so that and then like if someone hasn't done the quiz yet or hasn't submitted their notebook check, putting in a 0 just to show you, what your grade would be if you didn't do it. Not to like freak you out or anything or make you feel like your grade is failing, but I'm just trying to, I don't want you to get like a kind of surprise at the end of the semester when you thought your grade was okay because it was like, above 60%, but then you didn't do something and then it turned into a 0 and then it like dropped below 60%. Like I wouldn't want that to happen. So that's why I'm putting the 0s in now, just so that you can see, oh wait, I really need to do this because my grade is not going to be above 60% if I don't do this, kind of thing. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I finished with the evolution and ecology quiz this morning, and then maybe later today, kind of depends if I'm feeling tired or not, but definitely tomorrow, well, I'll probably try to start it today. I'll try to start the second human impact quiz so I can start getting that into Canvas. Yeah, and one of the reasons personally it's important for me to have an idea of what would better support you. It's important to me because A, you're students, so you're kind of like a representation of just students in general. B, you specific students, it's actually very helpful and important for me to know how you, like how online learning was for you, and what could have been better and what would better support you. Because, and this brings me to some exciting news that I have to share with you today. I was just accepted. I was accepted to be the chemistry teacher next year in place of Mr. Von Oy, who's taking a 1-year trip to Europe for kind of like a 1-year leave. So if you're taking chemistry next year, there's actually a decent chance that you're going to be my students. And with this whole online learning thing, then it's actually quite helpful for me to know like how to best, meet your needs as students, like specifically you, just because there's a decent chance that like actually you will be my students. So yeah, that's the exciting news I wanted to share with you. So yeah, I'm gonna start like preparing for that over the summer and try to come up with a plan that factors in online learning and try to make it really supportive of you. I know like the whole online learning thing for this semester, it was just it all happened so fast. It was just really hard for teachers to prepare and think about how to best support you as students. But since I have the whole summer to like prepare for this, I'm hoping that I'll be able to, like, I don't know, give you a good chem class if you are in my class. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I don't know if we're gonna come back to actual school in the fall, but if we do come back to school in the fall, then I'll get to see your faces and know what you look like. Okay, so thank you. So the next kind of piece of business. So yesterday supposedly you finished your last assignment for Unit 8. So that's like you're done with all of your schoolwork for this semester. Literally the only thing you have left is, if you haven't done the quiz, do the quiz, and then the final. Speaking of the final, Mr. Wang has not really finished kind of writing it, I guess. It is going to be multiple choice. I think it's going to be entirely multiple choice. I mean, if not mostly multiple choice. I don't know how many questions there are going to be. He doesn't know that either, because he's still working on it. But that's all the information I have about your final. And I put up a link already on Canvas for the Unit 8 notebook submission. It's right underneath on the home page of your biology course. It's right underneath the Unit 6 and 7 notebook submission. I also put it in the calendar agenda, like at the very bottom. So for like tomorrow, Friday the 15th, under like the agenda or whatever, it said the link is there too. Just so there's multiple places you can find this link. It looks exactly like the one that you used for Unit 6 and 7. I just put one extra question at the bottom that was just asking for some... Yeah! Lolly is... she's the only one that has not, been featured yet, so she's feeling a little left out. So this is Lolly the giraffe, but she didn't want to be alone either, because she's just a baby giraffe. So, Nibbles the dinosaur is chaperoning her. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah. So on the Unit 8 Google form, I put a question at the bottom asking for some feedback on the human impact unit, just because this is a new unit that was like Mr. Wang hasn't done this unit before, and so like since this is the first time that we're doing it, we want to get your feedback on what was meaningful to you, or how would it have been more meaningful to you. I know there are challenges with distance learning and stuff like that, but as best you can, try to evaluate the unit for the actual content of it, just because it might be different. It might not be online learning whenever he gets to that unit again next school year, and any feedback that you have on the unit will help Mr. Wang kind of continue to shape the unit to be more meaningful and effective for future students. So we would really appreciate if you left feedback about how you felt about it, what was meaningful to you, what was not meaningful, etc. Stuff like that. Okay. Are there any questions with the notebook check stuffs? Did you guys see your grades that I put in for Unit 6 and 7? Yes, it's on the agenda. It's at the top of the homepage. It's also in the actual calendar that I've been updating. If you scroll down to the very bottom of the homepage. You don't have to show the table of contents. I would appreciate if you kind of just make it clear like which assignment you're showing me. I'll probably be able to figure it out just because, you know, these are my own assignments, so I can recognize my own assignments better than, you know, with assignments that aren't mine. But like maybe if you kind of either quickly like zoom into which assignment you're on, or just point it out with your finger, or say it in the video or whatever, just so like, especially if you didn't print anything out, so like you were writing everything down in your notebook, so all I see is writing, it can be sometimes a little bit hard to tell where you are. What extra credit? What is this? What is the extra credit that you're talking about, Anjali? Okay. I'm gonna write that down too. Bathroom passes. That's a Mr. Wang question, and I wrote it down, and I'm gonna send it to him. And he can probably, I don't know, maybe he'll come up with, ask you to make, you know, take a picture of it or whatever. Yeah, if you're looking at your Unit 6 and 7 notebook check grades and you're not like satisfied or something, or you think, or like, first of all, if you really think that you did everything in the unit, like you did all your assignments and whatnot, but for whatever reason, like you don't have full points, just let me know. Because, you know, like I said, it's very possible that like I thought you were still on the same assignment, but you actually moved on to it. You were actually showing me a different assignment, and I just like couldn't see it or something. So yeah, just let me know, because I made a spreadsheet of like, you know, tracking like, okay, you know, this person has assignments 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Curtis, you didn't miss any. Wait, when did you cut out? No, you didn't miss anything. Just someone brought up the bathroom passes for extra credit, and I wrote that down, and I'm going to ask Mr. Wang about that, and he can deal with that however he wants to. So yeah, if you had any questions, or if you want to know like what assignments are you missing, like why do you not have full credit for the notebook check, you can email me and I will let you know, like I didn't see these assignments or whatever. Yeah. Were there any questions about Unit 8 notebook check? You know, the question that's set on the form that says, you know, something like, did I make sure to put the share settings on anyone with the link can view? Please make sure you actually did that. If you have any questions about how to make sure to do that, like let me know right now, and then I can try to show you right now. But because I emailed like several people like as I was going through the notebook check saying like, I can't access your video, you need to share it with me or whatever. So just make sure, if you got one of those emails from me, make sure you have it on the correct share settings, just so that you save time and I can get through it quicker. Any other questions about how the can you explain a little more of what you mean with your question? How the cooling of the earth idea works? Like, did I mention this in one of my videos or something? Um, feelers. Okay, so, Christy, they probably have, um, I think snails have like chemical receptors, um, and like honestly, like the way we feel things is not so much that we're, how do I say, like when we feel something with our hands, we kind of understand it as feel, and then I'll come back to your question, Anjali. We kind of think of ourselves like, okay, we feel something, like I feel the desk or whatever. But as far as your brain does not really understand things like, feeling a desk. What's really happening, just at a very basic level, because I'm not a neurologist, and I'm not trying to turn this into a neurology session, but like in your fingers, let's say, there are a bunch of different receptors that are sensitive to different things, like pressure receptors. There's definitely a lot of like pressure receptors in your fingers, in your hand and whatnot, and that's kind of how you feel the desk, because as it's pressing against these receptors or nerves in your fingers, then it sends a signal back to your brain saying, oh, like, I feel something, that hard, or like, as you press down on the desk more, you're putting more pressure, and so then your brain has an idea of like, how much weight you're putting on your hands or whatever. Basically, in a nutshell, that's kind of how your whole like feeling system works. And animals have a lot of different receptors for lots of different things. There's pressure receptors, there's pain receptors, there's chemical receptors. Your eyes are really, your eyes are really like in the very back of your eye and your retina, it's a bunch of photoreceptors that basically are just measuring how much light is coming into your eye. And then your brain does a lot of complicated magic stuff to piece together whatever you think you're seeing. Yeah. Okay. Cooling the Earth idea said the Arctic is... Okay, so cooling of the Earth. Okay. If you are referring to what Christy just mentioned about how like the Arctic is the Earth's air conditioning, basically, so heat is going to travel from hot to cold, basically. That's not scientifically correct, but like just basically. Air likes to move from higher temperature to lower temperature. So if the Arctic is very cold because there's a lot of ice and whatnot, then warm air is eventually going to try to travel towards areas that are colder, and that helps to like circulate the air so that hot air will cool down, because the ice and the cold water and whatever is going to absorb some of the heat, and so then the air that has now cooled down will circle back around to us, or people on the continents, and then that's how like the air gets cooled down so that the Earth doesn't get too hot. So that kind of is how the Earth cools itself down. It's just through like at the poles, the Antarctica and at the Arctic. Because you have like so much ice and it's colder up there, it helps to kind of absorb the heat in the air that is getting warmed up from the sun. So then if we start to lose the ice that is at the poles, then it's essentially like we don't have as good of a refrigerator kind of thing for the Earth. So it won't do as good of a job as cooling down the rest of the Earth that's heated up by the sun. So then the Earth does not get cooled down as well, and then the Earth's temperature starts to rise, which further melts the ice, and it kind of just keeps going in this positive feedback cycle. What if oxygen doubles on the Earth? Like, yeah, circulation could be kind of sucky, which means, less wind and stuff like that. And also just, it will really mess with weather and climate and stuff like that. Corey, what do you mean by if oxygen doubles on the Earth? Like due to something? Or just, in general, what if there was more oxygen on the Earth? Or is are you thinking of something that's causing this extra oxygen? Or... Well, I mean, having more oxygen on the Earth, I mean, we would just breathe it in. I mean, well, what do you mean by grow? Like, the population grow, or me as a person grow? Because, I mean, oxygen doesn't make me grow as a person. There are special cells, I think. Maybe it's no, sorry. There are special hormones called growth hormones, and they're responsible for why you even grow as a kid. But then at some point, your body stops making them. Usually around your age, kind of. There's a range, somewhere between 13 and early 20s or whatever is when your body stops producing these growth hormones. People way back when were taller and bigger before the amount of carbon. Oh, yeah, I've heard of that too. I don't know too much about that. But I mean, I know that was a thing. That way back when. It was, 8, 9 feet tall was kind of a norm or something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know too much about first of all, I'm not really a history person, so I don't it's not like I've spent much time looking into that. I think I've heard something I don't know, maybe natural selection just kind of favored for getting shorter. I don't know. Don't take my word on any of this. Actually, Mr. Wang would probably have a much better answer for this. I think a lot of that's a very nice nice idea, Christy. I honestly think that lack of knowledge about environmental science and stuff like this, all the things that I've talked about throughout this unit, I think just people not knowing about it is really what contributes to not caring, I guess. Because and I mean, I think ignorance plays a really big factor in this. And I'm not saying that people I'm not trying to be critical of people. I think honestly just not being aware of the way that all of the things that we do in our lifetime can have big and small impacts on the earth, even in ways that we are never going to see. Like, we may never see how our doing our laundry affects the ocean or whatever. And so I think just like not knowing about that kind of stuff is what is just like a really big problem, or one of the bigger problems, because you know, with politicians and stuff like that, like if the public is mad about something and is mad and wants change, and a politician, you know, is not giving the people what they want, politicians in some way kind of have to bend to what the mass public wants out of them, because, and not with everything, but like, because, you know, if the public isn't happy, they're not going to, you know, re-vote for them or whatever it is. At least in America, for now. I mean, I know there's plenty of countries where it's not, you know, very democratic, and so that's not really a thing. But like, you know, at least the way the American democracy system is supposed to work, politicians have to be reelected based on being wanted by the people. And so if there are more people out there that are kind of just more aware of environmental impact, and then, you know, they want more from their leaders and politicians and stuff like that, then I think that could have like a really significant impact on like making change happen. Yeah, which is why one thing that everyone can do that would just be really helpful is just kind of, I don't want to say like, you know, educate the people around you. Like, don't shove facts down people's face or whatever. But like, just like, you know, like little things that, you know, I tell my mom a lot, or I guess like, I teach my mom a lot of things that I learn. Not to like, you know, be lecturing her or anything. Just out of like, oh, like, look what I learned, or I just learned this cool thing about whatever, and then I just share it with her, and then it's kind of like, oh, I never knew that, or you know, whatever, like something like, you know, when I go grocery shopping with her or something, and I bring my own grocery bags. Like, I'm not talking about like the main bag that I carry my stuff in. I mean, like, instead of using those plastic bags for like the vegetables or fruit or whatever, I have my own like kind of mesh, like cotton mesh bags that I put the vegetables and fruits in and stuff like that. And so then like my mom or literally whoever goes grocery shopping with me just kind of, you know, they'll notice little actions like that, like, oh, you do it differently, like, you don't just, and then maybe they'll ask you like, why do you not just, you know, use the plastic bag? And then you might say, well, I don't want to contribute to more plastic waste, so I'm using these reusable mesh bags, or whatever it is that you do in your life. But I think like just like kind of sharing with the people in your life, you know, in a nice way, is one way of just making a difference, because you're spreading information that you were taught by someone else to other people. On that note, I think that's a very good segue into, I want to know what some of your personal commitments are from, you know, the assignment yesterday, if you are willing to share. I can go first. I think, so one of the things that I'm committing to more in my life is eating less meat. Kind of, I'm not gonna say that I'm a vegetarian or anything, because I don't know, sometimes I think that like creates, I don't know, brings with it a little bit of a stigma if I say, oh, I'm a vegetarian now. So that's not really how that's not what I call myself. Even though I tend to, you know, eat and cook for myself vegetarian dishes. I think, I mean, when I was in college, I I would really like roll my eyes at all those people that were saying like, oh, like, you know, I'm gonna be vegan because I care about the earth. And I would just roll my eyes because, I don't know, I guess I just didn't think, you know, I didn't think that, you know, someone who cared about the earth needed to be vegan. And I'm not planning on being vegan anytime soon, probably ever, because I like eggs and I like cheese and ice cream. And I'm not giving any of those things up. So, but I think like, and I don't know, maybe 10 years from now I'll change my mind again. I mean, like, I didn't think I'd be changing my eating style back in college, which was just a few years ago, and here I am now, you know, making changes. So I don't know, but I think I'm trying to eat less meat because, and for several reasons, like, you know, for just to be healthier, but also particularly with cows, you know, like beef and stuff like that. I think I just didn't know as much about like how like the cow beef industry, like the environmental impact of the cow industry, not just because cows generate methane and stuff like that, but just because, you know, people demand so much beef that like you have so much cow industry, cow farms, whatever, everywhere, and they take up a lot of land and resources and water and everything, and then like they're, you know, all this stuff like related to like trying to mass produce cows for Americans, and has a lot of like negative environmental impacts, not just on the soil, but polluting the water because of manure or fertilizer runoff and stuff like that. And I think like that's just really convicted me, and so I'm trying to eat less beef in my life, and fish. I think like just getting a better idea or learning more about the actual severity of overfishing that's happening. I mean, I always knew that was a thing, but I think just learning and just having more awareness about it has also just like made me feel kind of that I don't want to contribute to that. Yeah, and also, I mean, just for this, at least this current time with, you know, COVID-19, I kind of don't trust any meat plants at the moment. Yeah, so that's one thing that I'm committing to. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool to hear, Serena. Yeah, I'm trying to be more plant-based. My mom is too, so we're like supporting each other. Anyone else want to share any of your personal commitments? No? No one wants to share? That's okay if you don't want to share. I mean, you know, it is a personal commitment, so it's okay if you only want it to just be like a personal thing. If you don't want to share, that's fine. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, other things that I'm trying to commit to, trying to use my car. Okay, before the whole like coronavirus shelter in place kind of thing, I was trying to use my car less, like maybe walk more, bike more, use public transportation. It's not really comfortable doing that right now, just because you know, I don't want to be around people and not taking public transportation, and I am just trying to be cautious about I mean, like, just because I am aware that like there is some discrimination happening with Asian people just because the virus and stuff like that. So I mean, I feel like it's been happening more frequently in like San Francisco or something, but I'm just trying to be cautious as well, so I don't want to go outside by myself. Yeah, but maybe when it's more safe to do so, I may try walking to places again more often instead of just driving. Yeah, it is unfortunate, but I think just fear just drives people to do a lot of like scary things or things that like don't make a lot of sense, but people do a lot of crazy things when they're scared and they feel like they're losing control. Okay, well, anything else you want to know about me or know about anything else random? And I mean, like, if you think of something, put it in the chat. But just in if you feel like you really enjoyed this human impact unit and you feel like you want to learn more, I had you watch a couple of like story of stuff and story of solutions and stuff like that, and the makers of the whole story of ... series, they made a movie called Story of Plastic. I'm not sure like how available it is. Like maybe it might be available on their website. I'm attending a free like screening of the movie later today. But yeah, I think it's cool just that like, that whole website, the Story of Stuff website, they have a lot of other videos that are, might be cool to check out if you find that you're kind of interested in this. Also, I just found that the San Mateo County Office of Sustainability, they have like a bunch of classes. I don't know, maybe you already knew this, I just didn't know this, but they have like all these classes and they're free. And I found that they have this summer sustainability course. It's like 9 weeks or whatever, and it's like on Wednesday nights. And anyway, it sounded really cool. So, but they also have like different Zoom workshops that they're doing this month. Like this Saturday is about composting at home or something. So if that sounds interesting to you, yeah, you just go to the San Mateo County Sustainability Office, that website, and you'll find it there. But yeah, I'm gonna be checking some of those out because I need something to do, and I feel like just filling my calendar with things like, okay, here's a Zoom workshop that you're going to, it just like kind of creates some structure to my life. Okay, well, any last questions? You've seen most of my plants. I have a couple that are over there, but I mean, I've shown you all the ones that were like exciting, I guess. Like the celery and the aloe vera plant, and then Sal has always been in every video. Yeah, I have like a couple of vine plants, but they're like in rehabilitation mode. I'm not really sure why they like all the leaves turn brown or whatever, because I've been watering it every day. But like one is starting to recover, so it's growing green leaves again. The other one is like still in like recovery mode. Okay, well, it's almost 1:30, so we can end here and then I'll get ready for sixth period. But before we end, I just wanted to say, since this is my last time, I don't know, virtually meeting with you, just that I really enjoyed getting the opportunity to teach you virtually, and I've just enjoyed our, you know, getting to chat on Thursdays, and you've been really fun to work with, and I hope I get to meet you or get to know you better next year in chemistry. So yeah, thanks for being such a great group of students. Okay, well, stay safe for the rest of the summer, and I hope to see you next fall. Bye!